Hello everybody and welcome to another edition with me, Glory, on Discovery. Thank you so much for watching the vlog and for coming back every week and for your comments and for your emails. So I've been noticing a kind of conversation we've been having online about children from broken homes. I thought I really need to talk about this because what does it even mean when you say children from broken homes? What does it mean to come from a broken home? I think that's what's it called now? What's the word? That connotation or that phrase is a bit, it doesn't make sense, right? Because what is a broken home? So because two parents are no longer living together, the child is from a broken home. But if two parents are living together but are not acting like husband and wife, is that not a broken home? So I just think we need to be careful about how we say certain things. But then even more importantly, so my parents got separated when I was 6 years old. And literally my mom came to me from school and she told me. And I was just like, okay. I was 6, so obviously I didn't understand the impact of what she was telling me. But then even now that I'm older, I guess I'm even happy that I didn't make the conversation too difficult for her, because obviously it's something she must have been agonizing about and praying about and worrying about telling me. So anyway, I thought that it would be good because recently I realized that there's a stigma for people that come from those kind of families, from what I like to call unconventional families. And I never knew there was a stigma because look, in secondary school, right? On visiting day, I was a boarding house. So on visiting day, my dad will come, my mom will come. Obviously, they will come separately. My mom will be in the front of the class, my dad will be at the back of the class. And I would just be shuttling from the front of the class to the back. And then when it was time to take my provisions, I had 2 sets of provisions, 2 sets of pocket money, 2 sets of clothes, 2 sets of everything. So I didn't understand. To me, I was balling. So when people were talking about stigma and I read the other day, somebody was saying, children from broken homes, I pity you. I'm sorry. I feel sad for you. Don't feel sad for me. We're all right. We're actually okay. It's not such a big deal. Anyway, so the other day, I didn't even realize that, there was anything wrong with me, or I should realize that there's something wrong with me. One day, a friend of mine, he was listening to, it's a funny story, right? He's listening to Wana's show online, and I think apparently Wana is having this conversation on sharing life issues about children that come from families, parents that are not currently together. And the guy was trying to call in, but he couldn't reach her. So he thought, okay, I'll do the next best thing. I'll call Wana's friend. And then me and the guy, we have been talking, like trying to enter into a relationship situation. So the guy calls me and he's like, I was trying to call Wana. You need to tell her that yes, that girls that come from divorced homes, that they have trust issues. My ex-girlfriend, she had trust issues because her father left her mom, this one, and he was just talking, and I kept quiet. I didn't tell him anything. I allowed him to dig that, dig the hole. I allowed him to dig the hole very, very well. Then I now went, but then don't you think maybe she had trust issues because she had been heartbroken a lot in the past? And he said, no, that one is from home. It's a home situation and everything. And I said, okay, but because my parents are not together and I don't think I have trust issues. And the guy just went, And in my mind, I was just chuckling. I was like, hey, very good for you. He was like, no, but I think you're a bit different, because I never knew that about you, one thing. And I was just like, ergo, generalizations and stereotypes, they are just meaningless, really. So, I think apart from those kind of conversations about stigma, the more important thing to discuss is people that are actually going through these situations. So I have a friend who is currently going through a divorce, and he's really tried to make his relationship work, but for whatever reason, it's not working. And so he called me the other day and he was like, look, I know that when you were younger, your parents got separated. Tell me what is the best way to co-parent, because basically I'm still close to my mom. I'm very close to my mother, my dad. Anybody that knows me, I speak to my parents twice a day, each of them. So my daddy in the morning and the evening, my mommy in the morning and the evening. Anyway, so he was like, how are you able to have this relationship? Because it's very important for him that his kids don't hate him, right? So I thought, okay, you know what? I gave him some advice, but also I thought, I'm going to share this advice with people. And then also I have friends who are, either their parents were separated a long time ago, or they're currently going through that whole rigmarole now. And just what sort of mindset you should have. So it's kind of like a 2-part advice thing. So I'll start first of all with the parents. Now, I think that when parents, for whatever reason, like you meet somebody, you get married, you have kids, and you think it's forever, right? And then life takes its toll and things happen. So, and then you have kids. What do you do about that dynamic? I think the first thing to do is actually have a conversation with your children. Obviously, the level and the detail of the conversation is dependent on the age of the child, right? So let them actually know what is going on and reassure them that, you're going to love them, that, as much as the relationship between them and the other parent is changing, you are going to try your best, and it's good to have that conversation together. So both of you are there. So it gives some level of assurance. Obviously, it's going to be a difficult adjustment for the child. The second thing is, just because it didn't work for you all, doesn't now mean that you now neglect your responsibility. I can say for a fact that my mom never sat down one day wondering, how am I going to pay Glory's school fees? Oh my God, how are we going to get this for Glory? My father never abdicated his responsibilities. So realize that even though you are not with your partner, you still have a responsibility to that child. And then on the flip side, mothers, fathers, whatever you do not deny access to the other parents. So for whatever reason, you're going to try and have custody and all, as much as possible, unless the other parent is demonic, right? And it's going to, create a harmful, and I'm not saying a harmful environment that you are thinking, an environment that is literally harmful to that child's growth, then try as much as possible to have a shared custody. All that's going years, court cases, custody hearings, she said, he said, it really takes a toll on the child, and that's not what you want to concentrate on. You want to create stability for the child, right? So as much as possible, mothers don't hide the child away. Let them see their daddy. You two fathers, don't now start saying your mother is this, especially if you guys remarry for whatever, life moves on and you remarry. Try as much as possible to have a shared parenting style. And then another thing is, don't rubbish your partner. Like, don't go and say, your mother did this, your mother did it. Let the child have an experience of who their parent is. Let that relationship build. Like, don't come and truncate it with your own issues and everything. Like something I'm going to talk about later for kids is that also realize that your parents' relationship with each other is very separate from your relationship with your parents. So you didn't marry your daddy. So if your daddy was a bad husband, doesn't mean he's going to be a bad father. Like, give him a chance to parent you. So don't take sides. I never took sides with my parents. If my mommy would say, hey, your daddy did this, I said, no, but you marry him. I did there when I married. I wasn't there. So that one is really for you people's pocket. Like, understand and dimension that relationship. Right? Okay, I've kind of moved on now to the kids. But I think also for kids, like, try and stay away from negative people. So I had this auntie that told me one day, she's like, Glory, why don't you try and get your parents back together? I was irritated. And I was just like, auntie, you know my mom for how many years now? You were there when they were getting separated. Why did you not try and make them stay together? Why did you wait for me 15 years later to now come and do shrink the parents and then reenact honeymoon scene and all of that for them? Child, you understand that you have your own life to live as well. And that's very important, because a lot of people say, oh, once from a broken home, forever brokenness. It's not true. It's not. There are people that they came out from loving families where their parents did a lot to show them, the styles of parenting and that they loved each other. And they are now in homes that, are less than desirable. So it has nothing to do. You own your life and you can dictate what kind of life you want to be. So don't be afraid of a repetition and all of that. Just understand what you want from life, but be very careful with the kind of partner you choose, because obviously that's going to determine if the long-termness or the long-term nature of your relationship. So I think in general, I think that when you're talking about, if you're not really, the truth about it is this, right? If you're not from a family where both parents are separated, you don't know anything. Can I just be honest? You don't even understand what that dynamic is like. So try not to stigmatize, generalize, or put people from that situation down, because really, until you walked a mile in our shoes, you have no clue. Oh, and before I forget, this is the really important one, right? Parents, please, no fighting in public. Nah, very bad, very, very, very bad. Like if you know, you might hate your wife or your ex-wife and everything, keep your hatred internal. You can have, maybe when both of you are in private, people shout at each other, but don't go outside when your child is there and start fighting. You know, try as much as possible not to air your dirty linens in public, right? Because obviously that has, you know, you want to limit the shameful stigma on the child. Well, I think that's my advice today. I hope I've been helpful. I hope, especially for parents that are going through this situation, I mean, feel free to email me. I always respond to emails, even if it takes me a few days, right? But I always do respond to emails and to comments as well. So let me know, are you currently going through this situation? Did you come from a situation where your parents, you know, are currently not living together? Did they remarry? What kind of dynamic? What kind of issues have you faced? I'd really love to hear from you. But in the meantime, it's me, Glory on Discovery. I can't wait to see you on the next vlog. Bye.